There you go. How are you? How are you? It's so good to see you. Thank you for the applause. That's Rocky being tech on the board. How's everything today? You have just signed into ESP Speaks, and we are very happy to see you. We're back again. We're here with, we're going to dial them in, is Captain Lesley, who's our guest host this week, and Boots on the Ground, Elder Andy. We had such a great time with them last week that we lost them. Oh boy, he starts early. Do we have them yet? So while we get them, I am going to come in with a word from our sponsors, which is Breathe CPR at 892 Wyckoff Avenue in Brooklyn, and their number is 929-257-5271. They've been holding all the doctors and the nurses down throughout this pandemic, and we've been doing their masks and making sure they fit properly and doing tests up at the hospitals. So we've been hanging in there. And we also have Cartier Designs, which is also under the brand name of Boardwalk Global Media, which we are. That's our mother company. He's over at City Phases and has a couple exciting things happening, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And once again, our mother company is Boardwalk Global Media. And we're always looking for new talent. We're always looking for new shows. So give us a buzz here at ESP Speaks or at The Real Discussion with Rock Logic. I'm telling you. I tried to give him some new buttons to play with during the course of the week. We'll see what he actually chose because he got a couple of them. Anyway, let me give a couple of shout outs to, now watch him get the applause wrong this time. Shout outs to the 2020 graduates, all of the 2020 graduates this year. It doesn't matter what school you're graduating from. We just want to let you know we love you, we're rooting for you, and you're very special because this is a weirdly special time and you're doing something very groundbreaking. So congratulations to all of you. And just want to say that The Real Discussion is going to be coming on with Rock Logic, Gary D, ESP, and Robin tomorrow night. And Rocky is going to be doing his first rant of 2020. I'm actually surprised that it took him this long to get to his first rant because this is, the 5th month of the year? Usually he's been ranting all the way through the year. But I guess with all of the COVID and everything, he's been kind of quiet and we've been busy. So we're going to be on tomorrow night with his first rant at 6 p.m. What are you coming on? 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 6 p.m. So you can join us here again. Actually, you can flip over to our sister site at The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, and we'll hear what he has to say. I can't wait. I want to give a special shout out to a woman in Virginia. This was something that our co-host, Captain Lesley, had told us about. There's a woman named Tisha Johnson. She's actually a nurse, but she opted to back away from nursing during the pandemic because she was actually out on leave. But here's what the special thing is with Tisha Johnson is. Tisha Johnson owns a restaurant called Orleans Bistro and Grill. It's at 5442 South Point Plaza Way in Fredericksburg, Virginia. That's in 22407, by the way. And her number is 540-891-4440. Now, what's so special about Tisha? Tisha, as I said, she was a nurse. Instead of nursing, she opened up her restaurant, called in all of her employees, and started cooking meals for all of the doctors and the nurses and the hospitals, and was delivering foods, and I believe also to their families as well, so they wouldn't have to worry about cooking. Talk about a hero. So once again, we're going to big it up for Tisha Johnson over at Orleans Bistro and Grill in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Wonderful. You put your heart and your money where your mouth is. Thank you so much. And for all of you essential workers that are out there, Once again, we love you and we thank you for all of what you're doing. Are you trying to get my attention? All right. We are actually trying to. Where our co-hosts are in yet? Just give us a minute.
Tell them to call the number on the screen.
And here. And then work with her from there. All right. So now I want to take some time to say big up to our regular families in hip hop, which are Universal Hip Hop Radio and Universal Hip Hop Studios, it will soon be, which is Cutman LG up in the Bronx. Once again, that museum that he has over at Exeter Avenue is not open yet, but we'll get there soon. But he's got something to see. And Jolie and Double V over at IAS Studios, they're always part of the family, and we love to support them. Just giving you a quick shout out. And my boy Al Pizarro up at Hip Hop Boulevard, we just wanted to give you a shout and let you know we're sending some love with all the wonderful things that you do. All right.
You know what? There's somebody else I think you should shout out.
Okay, so he's yelling.
Shout out
now.
Uncle Lays.
Uncle Lays. Why don't you just mic up, please?
You want to mic up?
Mic up. Oh my God. You yelling at me from across the board all the time. Just mic up. Uncle Lays. Uncle Lays. Uncle Lays. Let me tell you about Uncle Lays.
Yeah.
He has a show that is just starting it up. It's called The Raw Perspective. And I understand that this is going to be some hot stuff. So if he lets us in, because does he plan to go live under?
Yeah, he's sent over a couple of shows already that I listened to. Mm-hmm. Sounds really good. He's planning on. I think he's already gone live on one of his shows already. It's already up, and he's working on show number 2. And he's been building the situation, building it, and it sounds really good. So his the Raw Perspective, I got to tell you,
it's awesome. I can't wait.
It will send you into a rant. I mean, you might not get mad. You might not get mad listening to the show. I'm serious. But then something will trigger you, and you'll be bugging out on Facebook.
Okay, just so you know, rant is his thing this month, so you're going to hear that repeated throughout the course of the show. But I wanted to give one more shout out because this is really, 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 really important. Uncle Lays, you know I love you. I can't wait. But you know we're going to be on with you tomorrow. So, but there's one more shout out that is so amazing, and it's you. We have to say thank you to you because let me tell you what you did last week. And this is to all of you across the board. We released the show last week, and you tuned in with 8,637 viewers on the original show. And then we did a re-release because we edited out certain things, and you hit us again with 3,516 viewers, and that includes all of the subgroups as well. And for a grand total of... Can I get a drum roll somewhere here? Wow, that was a hell of a drum roll. 12,152 viewers to the first show of the Real Discussion spinoff of ESP Speaks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate you so much, and I look forward to stepping up to the plate and delivering like that to you every single time. So now, let's move on, because on this week's show, this is a tough show, but it's an important show, because I'm going to tell you about a couple of things that have been happening in my life that caused me to do this show. But this show is COVID-19, 6 Degrees of Separation. How have the events during quarantine affected you with regards to the death? All right. So I asked the question, how have the deaths during quarantine directly affected your life? And we're going to jump right in because I hear that you're doing something here, but I wanted to jump right in with that clip with Boots with Andy. I wanted to do that remote clip with him. And we're going to take a look at that, and we'll be right here. So just take a look at this, because Andy had something very important to say.
6 degrees of separation is the idea that all people are 6 or fewer social connections away from each other, also known as the 6 handshake rule. As a result, a chain of a friend statements can be made to connect any two individuals in a maximum of 6 steps. Back when MySpace was a popular social media site, there was a guy named Sammy. Sammy had made a post saying, "Sammy is my hero." And he posted it to a couple of his friends. Within 9 hours, it had reached 488 accounts. 13 hours later, it had reached 8,800 accounts. 18 hours later, it had reached 1 million accounts. I want you all to look at the 6th degree of separation on the basis of how we deal with people that we are connected to, our family members, our friends. If we go around not wearing a mask, or somebody else goes around not wearing a mask, and they don't know that they have this COVID-19, or can be a carrier, but not be infected, but they can easily pass it on to someone else. 2 people later, they pass it on to somebody else. 6 people later, it's passed on to another 12. So the same rules apply. So today, I ask you a question. Are you keeping yourself and others safe by wearing a mask? Check out these videos.
Yes. And that's our elder Andy. And he makes several good points, and he brings the point of our degrees of separation home. And do we have the co-hosts up yet? All right, so we're still waiting for them to get set. But let's talk further about it. And you can call in today as well. You're calling in at 908-242-6234. And I'm pretty much going to leave the phone lines open for a bit, because we want you to be a part of this conversation as well. So like I said, let's make sense of it all. At this point, the question is, do you still think that you should be wearing the masks and the gloves? And which, from my perspective, yes, that is a definite that we should still be wearing masks and gloves, especially since this whole thing, we're opening up the city, we're starting to get back in, and we're starting to come alive again, and there are more people out on the streets, and we're more involved with each other, and things are getting back to normal. I actually wanted to give you some statistics, but we don't have Lesley. Captain is not on the line with us, because she had some numbers that I wanted to share with you as well. So we're kind of waiting for them to get in line. But call in and tell us what you think about that and the phasing in of everyone else. And tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't we have you come to our page, whether it be ESP Speaks on Facebook, or The Real Discussion with Rock Logic on Facebook, or ESPSpeaks.com. And what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to make maybe a 1 or 2 minute video of you wearing your mask and telling us why you think it's important. Because we're going to pick out the best video at some point during the next 2 weeks. We're going to pick out the best video that we see. And at that point, we're not only going to give a prize, but we're going to have you on as a guest host on the show. And you get to pick the subject. So that's going to be part of the winning prize. So once again, you can make a 1 or 2 minute video, put your mask on, and tell us why you think it's important to still be wearing the mask, to still be wearing the gloves. And let's add a twist to even that. If you're one of the people who are making masks, or you know someone who is making masks. You can also advertise their masks as you make that video. Because, see, we were going to have a mask show. And what we decided to do was add you to the mask show because it was a special surprise. And I got a surprise from our head producer yesterday that what we were waiting on to do the show actually was done. We thought we were going to have to wait another 3 weeks for our designer, which is Cartier of City Phases. He was designing a series of masks specifically for us, for The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, for ESP Speaks, for Boardwalk Global Media, for all of our subgroups. He was making masks and T-shirts and all the paraphernalia to go along with it. And as I said, I got the approval yesterday that our masks are done. So go to City Phases and you will see our masks. You ever see Rocky and I with those brick shirts on that say MC Sticky? We've got masks, and all of our shows are going to have masks. So we're really excited. So now that we have that promotion set up, we want you to put on your mask. We want you to get on our websites, and we want you to tell us why it's so important that you think you should still be wearing the masks and your gloves. And if you're selling a mask, advertise it, and the best one is going to win a prize. Okay, do I have my co-hosts on yet? Are we
Yes,
in?
you do.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you guys? Captain
Wonderful.
Lesley. Captain Lesley
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Boots on the Ground Elder Andy. What's up?
What's going on? How's everything?
Everything is everything.
Good to hear that.
We just ran your 6 degrees of separation, looking all handsome on the film. So we were waiting for you to get on so we could start out. And Leslie, my captain.
Yes, ESP, I am here.
How are you, baby girl?
I am doing absolutely fabulous.
That's wonderful. You know, you guys really, it was a wonderful show last week. I don't know if you were able to hear the numbers while the tech was bringing you in, but we hit some serious numbers last week, and you were part of that. And it was awesome. It was awesome to see you. It was awesome to hear you. And I'm going to
Praise
shut up
God.
now.
Yes, yes. Amen.
Leslie, you got some statistics for me?
I have all kinds of statistics for you.
All right, let's hear let's hear some of them.
So, from the CDC website,
Mm-hmm.
we have about 1,561,095 personnel that have been affected by COVID.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Of those, we've had 93,061 deaths, and that was of yesterday. The numbers get calculated every day.
So wait, this is the whole of the
So-
United States?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Wow.
They get recalculated every day, and the CDC and a few other people actually do statistics on it
Mhm.
and post the number of cases, and they're going up in numbers by 20,000 per day.
Hmm.
So that U.S. case number went up by 22,860 personnel from the previous day.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And this is
So-
still happening, although they're telling us things are dying down. This is still happening?
Yes, it is still active. I'm tracking the CDC website every day,
Mm-hmm.
and the cases are still going up by at least double digits. Like 22, 20, 19,000 people every single day.
Wow.
So I'll give you a breakdown of what I've gotten just kind of for, our areas. So I'll start with Washington, D.C. They're not broken down by county. It's just Washington, D.C. as a whole has had 7,561 confirmed cases and a total of 407 confirmed deaths
Hmm.
in Washington, D.C. alone as of yesterday. So, the stats for Virginia, all of Virginia, of total confirmed cases have been 32,908 personnel confirmed with the virus. And we've had 1,072 deaths.
My God.
So, and there's several counties in Virginia that are at the top of the list as far as that's concerned. Fairfax County is at the top of the list in the number of cases with 8,163 total cases, which accounts for like 24.8% of the state's numbers, and 302 total deaths.
Are they doing testing? Have the testing, especially in your area, Andy, has the testing opened up to the public yet? Because now they're pushing for everybody here to start testing. Are you guys at the testing phase yet?
They had opened up for testing, and but the numbers are still low. A lot of people are not going out for testing at all whatsoever. It's like at 3.7% for Virginia right now as we speak. And that was on the news this morning out MSNBC.
Wow. Are they accessible? Are you guys is there an accessibility for you guys to get the testing? Or do you feel that they're not available enough?
There are plenty of spots out here in Virginia that you can go and get the test taken. Matter of fact, my wife and I had it taken a couple of months ago, about 4 weeks ago, I'm sorry. And, thank God we was negative. Everything was good to go. But the VA has a place for the veterans, and also regular civilians can go there. And plus, there's all the hospitals in this area, in the Hampton Road areas, is able to provide somebody the testing.
Okay. So now, are you? See, you guys didn't have the ghost town situation like we did in New York. Are you guys starting to open up now? How are you feeling about that? What's the response in your area about the opening up and how everybody trying to come back to normal?
Girl, I'm going to keep it real with you for this area.
Please do.
They are not, this area has opened up for 50% for the restaurants. You can't go inside the restaurants to eat, but you can, the owners can have tables outside, and they even close out some of the streets. But check this out. Nobody is wearing a mask. And this is the kicker.
I know that's
Nobody's
your pet
wearing a mask. They're
peeve.
walking around like everything is okie dokie. Even children.
Wow, and that's dangerous. How is this new child pandemic or disease, the virus that's showing up, the one that mimics the Kawasaki? How is it playing out in the Washington area and the Virginia area, guys?
You want to go
it
first?
Is lessened. Sorry, yeah, it is lessened somewhat now. As far as the incident, or at least reported incident. Of this happening to the children. However, they still do not have a good handle on how the virus has mutated, causing this, and if it's going to mutate again to cause some other things with children, because it seems as though it has mutated in children and given different symptoms along the way. So not everybody's having COVID toe, and not everybody's having the rash, but you're seeing different things that are popping up that are new, so hard to diagnose as being related to COVID until it runs for a little while, and then they're like, virus is mutating.
Right.
Okay.
Pretty much it's the same thing here in the Virginia area. I haven't heard of any cases yet with that, especially with the children, but it's going to soon happen. That much I can guarantee.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you something before we dive right into the top subject matter of what the show is about. I want to ask you, do you feel, because I have my feelings on it, but I want to know how the two of you feel in the areas that you are at. Do you feel that there's a second wave coming of this thing? And is it going to be worse or the same as the first, if you believe there's a second wave of the COVID virus coming?
I can
would
say from. Sorry, Andy.
No, go ahead, Kathy.
Y'all are so considerate. I love it.
I can say that I believe that there is going to be a second wave, and I believe that the second wave is going to be worse than the first. The same way the Spanish flu did, I think it's going to do greater damage that second wave, and that's the wave that will get everybody to take it seriously. One of the things that I can say I'm blessed that this is happening in our areas where we are on the Virginia end, in Virginia Beach and in Fredericksburg. Fredericksburg has had like 0 deaths. Pennsylvania has only had 4 deaths, and Hampton has had less than 20 deaths. Right. So, our areas have very few cases in comparison across the board, and the death toll is not as great.
Why do you feel that is? Is it because y'all are more spread out? Because, I mean, in New York City, we're on top of each other. So that would be part of the... Okay, that makes sense.
All right. I actually think we haven't hit... Neither one of the counties has received their peak yet. It hasn't reached the peak. And none of the cities in Virginia. And that's what I truly believe.
Okay.
So definitely a second wave will be coming, and it shall be worse. And the way I see people walking around, I live on the beach. I see people walking around with no mask.
Yeah, you talk about that regularly, and that's why we were supposed to be a surprise with the mask show, but you're going to have a whole show to jump into that.
Right.
But what I want to do right now, I want to jump into the subject matter, because I just wanted to warm you guys up and get the numbers and let people know what they're dealing with, because most of the time people think that we're talking to just the audience in New York. We are worldwide. We have people from Japan online. We have people from Ireland online. We have England online. We've got Hong Kong. Well, no, we don't have Hong Kong anymore. There were 2 people from Hong Kong and they dipped out. We have Africa online. So we're all over the world. So the statistics that I give people to get a general sense as to what is actually happening. So at this point, I want to jump in and really talk about the 6 degrees of separation and the segment. As I said before you guys came in, I was telling them that I dedicated this segment to all of the families that are suffering through loss in the pandemic, which I am included. And everything that we say, this is going to be a gift to them in my small way, because there are a lot of things that in the last month that I've seen that were very unusual. I've done that were very unusual, and I'm going to get heavily into that and hope it helps our audience and the families in our audience that are having to deal with things. But with regard to the 6 degrees of separation, at some point, at this point, whether you believe that you should wear a mask or not wear a mask or wear gloves or I don't care or it's not going to happen to me, at this point in this whole pandemic, either you know someone who has had this, you have heard about someone who is attached to someone who has had this, you have actually had it, or you have cared for somebody who's had it, or you know someone who has died from it. And that in itself is the objective of the conversation in terms of the 6 degrees of separation. Because Andy and Leslie and I talk to people on a daily basis. We go out, we do interviews, we speak to people, and they don't believe that it's affecting them in the least bit still.
Nope.
So we're trying to portray to them with this 6 degrees of separation that it's a lot closer than you think. So just to let you know what we go through, just to let you know what I've been going through, what I've been seeing with regard to the funeral process. Now, this is a biggie, and this is why I'm doing this show today. All of us have buried someone. All of us have been to a funeral at some point. But this whole game is totally, totally different. I had Leslie give you the numbers so that you can get a sense as to what is really coming out of these hospitals. In New York, we're down in numbers now, but at one point we were up to 500-600 deaths a day in New York City.
Wow.
So it's dipping down. So now you heard stories about the 18-wheeler trucks, and you had morgues, emergency morgues set up on the street. Of course, because the regular morgue in a hospital can only really hold 10 bodies. You're talking about 200 bodies dying in a day. You have to put them somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So now, I having to deal with my brother had passed, I having to deal with his death, I had called in our family mortician, and I sat him down. He was supposed to be on the show today, but he's actually doing a service, so he couldn't be with us. So I actually wrote all the questions down and had him answer, and hopefully if we can get, no, he's still at the service. I was hoping that we would push past 8 o'clock so I could call him, or maybe he's listening. I don't know if he's in the car and hears me and he can call in, or any other mortician that's listening to this, because I know we have several on the line. But I'm going to give you some statistics. I'm going to give you some direct quotes, and I'm going to give you some things that he needs you to know, because this is a whole different ball game. Before I get into that, I'm going to take a quick breath, and I'm going to read something to you that started my day. There's a sister of mine, I believe that she's in Texas because she recently moved. But I wanted to share this with you because it was so moving. And I called her and I asked her for her permission, and she said I could read it online. Her name is Dr. Jolie Rock.
Hey, Jolie.
I got online this morning after doing my thing, and hers was the first post that I saw. And it read like this: I'm not a crier. However, the past few mornings, I've noticed that tears are falling down my eyes. For the past 2 months, I've received news for so many illnesses and so many deaths, not just for COVID, but for strokes and cardiovascular issues, breast cancer, police brutality. The list goes on and on and on. As I try to mask the pain, I think my body is releasing while I'm sleeping. How my heart aches, and my prayers do not cease. And I thank God for allowing me to experience the joy of life and friendship with those that are still here with me. But please let this period of death and mourning end quickly. And as I read that, I really started to cry, because I've been waking up for the past month and a half with tears in my eyes. And I realized that it was all of the things that I was dealing with, whether it had been work or the type of work that we do, because we're out in the field, we deal with nurses, we deal with doctors, the news, we're inundated, hearing of I've had 29 deaths, and then my brother dying. I realized that I wasn't dealing with the situation, and I was crying in my sleep because maybe I was dealing with it in my sleep. But I thought this was a powerful, powerful writing, and I just wanted to share it with you because this is a statement that other people are feeling the same things that we're feeling. If we just talk to each other, we can come together and find a place where there's some peace, and you can share a thought. Sharing a thought with somebody actually helps you through. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I'm going to ask my co-host, somebody has got something electronic that's providing a feedback. So if you could turn your radio down or your television down or whatever it is that's electronic. One of you guys got something going on back there. So, and you guys know Jolie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's in my class. That's 84.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's really powerful. She just released a new album. Andy, what's the name of the album that she just released the other day?
I'm not sure the name of the album. I saw it, but I didn't really pay that much mind. I just congratulated her and then kept on moving.
All right. Well, you know what? While we're getting into the next segment, do me a favor. One of you guys Google that so we can say her album online, and that would be nice because that was very powerful. Dr. Jolie, Dr. J, Thank you. I appreciate it. You really spoke to my heart this morning. All right. So now let's jump into the fishbowl and let's share what's happening. If you are going through or helping someone with a death during this COVID situation, I'm going to speak very plainly, and I'm not trying to start any trouble. I'm not trying to I just want to give you the truth, because it took me 3 weeks to find my brother's body. I'm not going to tell you what hospital that I had to deal with. I'm not going to tell you the circumstances around that. We're still trying to muddle through several things, but let me explain to you what is happening here. And this is from a New York State board certified mortician. His name is Clarence Holston. Clarence has been a family friend, and he has done over 30 of my family bodies over the last 25 years. So he's like a family friend. He's a member of the family. Okay. So in 1 month, in talking to him, as I said, he's supposed to be on the show today, but I'm going to have to give you all the information that he gave me. A normal mortuary or funeral home would get 10 to 15 bodies in a month. That would be considered a good traffic flow. During the pandemic, he's gotten 10 to 20 bodies in a week. The funeral homes in New York City have to turn people away. Okay, so now let me give you some facts. Because when people are calling the funeral homes, and I've spoken to several people, whether I know them or I met them because of the situation, I've heard a lot of people saying some really way out there things, and he doesn't want to take care of my body because he doesn't want to take care of my brother's body because of what he died from. And let me break it down for you. On a normal basis, not just with the COVID situation, not just in the pandemic, on a normal situation, when a mortician goes to receive a body and they sign that body out of the hospital, sometimes they are going for several bodies. Okay? They might be going to hospital number 1, hospital number 2, hospital number 3, and they're dealing with 3 families in that week. This is on a regular basis. I'm not talking COVID right now. When a mortician goes to embalm or stand over a body, there are time periods where he doesn't even know what the person died from, because they don't look at the paperwork. Not always. Some of them do. They don't look at the paperwork. Now, that might strike you as being funny. What do you mean they don't look at the paperwork? Don't they want to know? They don't care. Here is the issue that you're thinking of. Well, if he died of this, doesn't he want to be protected? If he died from that, doesn't he want to be protected? Oh my God, that woman had that. He has to be protected. That's not how morticians think. PPE is the mortician's middle name. Let me say that again. PPE, protective gear, is something that a mortician has on all the time. It's not something that they change per the ailment or the disease or what the person died from. They are the most heavily protected individuals in the medical field or post-medical field. They are gloved up, masked up, hazmat suit. I don't care what you see on television when you're looking at these crime drama shows and they're doing the V mark in the chest and everybody's there. No, that's not how it's like. Because they deal with a heavy set of chemicals on a regular basis. They don't even use the N95 mask. They use the masks like Rock has one. They use the masks with the filters on the side because of the type of stuff that they are inhaling. And they're standing on it. So they're wearing rubber boots. They look like they're going fishing, and they have hazmat gear on. So it's not a question of what the body has. They are always PPD'd up. So they are going to prepare. There is a standard procedure. I'm not going to tell you what they do in an embalming process, but it's not what you think. Okay, so we have access to Google and all of that, so you might want to look up what happens in an embalming process. All right, so that's a fact. So then once again, they don't even look at what it is. They just proceed to help you as a family. Now, the process of death during the pandemic. As I said, the hospital morgue holds normally 10 bodies. They normally will hold those bodies for 2 weeks. That's in a regular situation. In New York City, you had 18-wheeler trucks filled with 200, 300, 400 bodies at a time. So what the hospitals have opted to do, knowing that the funeral homes are overwhelmed and literally have people on wait lists to have funerals, they're allowing the bodies to stay at the hospitals until the funeral homes can process the bodies out. Okay? So once a body is refrigerated, according to the New York State Medical Examiners Association, a human remain can stay above ground for 1 year, provided because they use a heavier embalming fluid in order to keep the body preserved. I say that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I say that because people are getting upset and they're getting nervous when they say, well, I can't take your body right now. I'm going to be on a waiting list. Or they get offended when they're being sent to another funeral home. And then when you go to that funeral home, they have no space either. You're allowed to keep a body above ground once it's refrigerated. And again, this is very clear-cut information. I'm speaking from my heart because I want you to know, and I don't want you to be up. We're upset enough as families that are going through this. I want to ease as much of this as I possibly can. Okay, so here's the process. The body is at the hospital. You have to locate it, as I said before. It's in refrigerated units. You have to call a mortician to retrieve the body for you. This is not something that you can do. The fact that the funeral homes are overwhelmed, it's normally a problem, but when the funeral homes are caught, they've been caught off guard, you're going to have to wait the process out. And now here's where you can go with this situation right now. Because some people are opting to not embalm the bodies, and they're doing closed caskets. It's not about the money all the time. I was with a woman the other day where her friends and the friends of the person who passed were like, oh my God, you're not going to do a service, and da 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 da. She did not want to wait the extended period of time that it would have taken to bury him. So she opted not to have an embalming, and she opted to cremate him. So there are several different things that I'm going to discuss that will allow you to understand what can be done. And at this point, I'm going to ease back and take a breath and let my two co-hosts jump in, because I really want to hear what you have to say about what I've said so far before I get into specifics. So Andy and Leslie, what do you think about all of this happening here?
I'm at all. It's just mind-boggling to me to even hear that. I never even knew that they can keep a body for over a year or at a year. That's just crazy to me. But you have to do what you have to do right now under the circumstances. Mm-hmm. People are just dying, and it's hectic. I'm so sorry for your loss of your brother. At the same time, I wanted to say that on the air. It's just mind-boggling. It's terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, so there has been a change, of course, in the way business is done based upon COVID-19 in several places because, like you spoke about, the sheer numbers that, that the morgues were coming up with. And so, as a matter of fact, in an article in the New Yorker that was written by Jonathan Blixer on April 22nd, they referenced an entire process that was happening with Sherman Flatbush Memorial Chapel, and three of the people that were delivering bodies to them spoke on how they had to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were seeing funeral homes that were so overwhelmed that they were telling mourners to plead with the hospitals to ask the morgues in the hospital to hold on to the bodies for a few extra days so that the mortuaries had time to make space.
Yes.
Yeah, to be, moved. And so they're like, on April 8th, it said that there were more than 33 New Yorkers were dying every hour from COVID-19 in accordance with Governor Cuomo.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then what's happening is initially the World Health Organization came up with some guidance that said, hey, don't embalm the body. It puts you at too much risk. And part of that, what I learned is because mortuaries were running out of PPE. They didn't have the PPE. And so, and retrieving a body became more than a one-person job. It became a two-person job because what was happening is the virus causes the body to swell and also causes the body to leak fluid. It moved too much. And so there was a big concern at one point in time as to whether, they would get, infected. And one of the personnel from that particular Sherman Flatbush Memorial Chapel, they went to move a body, and they moved the body, and the hospital had left an IV in the deceased arm, and it pricked one of the people retrieving the body.
So there was a butterfly needle still hanging out of the body.
Yes. And so that was part of the problem, as well as the Brooklyn Medical Examiner wasn't even letting people enter in. They weren't letting funeral directors come in, and they had the caravan outside to wait for, things to happen. And then the citywide electronic system, eVital, kept freezing from overuse. It wasn't used to having to record that many deaths at one time. All that kind of slowed down the process of being able for the family to retrieve the body. One of the things you said about that was, they said in the early weeks of the crisis that things were so disorganized in the refrigerated trucks that they could barely figure out. They had to shuffle in and out, zip open every bag, check the toe tag in order to find your loved one. And so as the pandemic continued and things got better, the hospitals put in place a sorting system with, improvised structures so they can put it on crates and things so that there was a space to walk down the middle of the refrigerated truck and actually look at a number and identify, that this was someone's loved one because they had been coded with a number, as opposed to what they were doing initially, which was just trying to get bodies in there to keep the temperature at a point where the bodies would not decay. So it's been, for those that are impacted, crazy.
A lot of this is on the job thinking. Necessity. Yeah. The phrase "necessity is the mother of invention" really was tested as all facets of the medical industry had to figure out how to deal with this. And coming back to the families now, so with all of this information that we just dispersed to you to give you a clearer picture as to why you're being told what you're being told when you contact a mortician, let's go to now the basics and how it applies directly to you as a family member, as a person that has either died, as the family member that's dealing with a death. So right now, there are certain things that you really need to know, and we're going to address through the course of the show. Unless you have a pre-purchased funeral arrangement, you have a problem. With everything, with every business, including this one, and the mortuary sciences are a business and funeral homes are a business, costs are going through the roof. With the cemeteries, costs are going astronomical in these cemeteries. You cannot imagine. You're buying a house. You're buying a piece of land when you buy a funeral pot. You are buying a plot of land. You have a title and a deed, but you might as well be putting a house on what they're charging right now. So if you have done pre-planning, you're in better shape, because the insurance companies, oddly enough, are stepping up and really, really working with the families. Insurance companies, they're pumping out claims in 2 and 3 and 4 days, where sometimes that used to take 2 weeks. So they're doing very, very well. But let me tell you what's happening here. A lot of people are opting for cremation because of the price factor. Not only because of the embalming difficulties or the embalming situations that I and Leslie were just talking about, but simply because of the price factors. Now, I'm going to give you any pricing that I give you is a generalized pricing, because each funeral home is different. Each mortuary is different. And each mortician, because some morticians are not directly connected to a funeral home, they work out of several different homes. So all of the pricings are different, but I'm going to give you a generalized look at what these things should be costing, and they can be higher. All right. So in New York City right now, a cremation, just a cremation, that means they just fire it up. You have a body, they put it in. That can cost anywhere from $475 to $875. That's it. No funeral service, no nothing. I want you to also understand the crematoriums are working overtime and their kilns are failing. You can't run these things 24 hours a day. Some of these things are pushing 9,000 degrees. All right. So now, Woodlawn Cemetery, Cypress Cemetery, Golden Grove Cemetery, Mount Zion Cemetery, Calvary, they're all up 300%. So now, there's something called direct cremation, which is what I said, no viewing, no service, straight to the crematorium and into a receptacle that you pick. There's no casket. Then you have a standard cremation. The standard cremation is when they prep the body, you dress the body, you have a full service and viewing. That can cost anywhere from $6,000 and up, even though it's a cremation. Because here's the thing. When you buy a casket, they cremate you with the casket. So you must let your mortician know that you do not want the body burnt with the casket. Again, these are not things that you think about every day. This is why I'm offering this information. You can rent a casket. I did not know that until this month. And I've had a mortician, as I said, for the last 25 years. So if you want to do a cremation and you don't want the body cremated with the casket, you can have a casket that you rent for the body to show, and then they will take the body to the crematorium in another receptacle to have your remains prepared for you in the correct way. Okay, so now that's dealing with cremations. A standard funeral service which most all of us have been to, that's when you have the funeral, you have the wake, you sit and you have the service. There's a normal embalming, you pay for the cosmetology, you bring their clothes. That's what we're normally used to. In the state of New York, only 10 people can come to the funeral wake. It's not two things now where you'd have a wake one day and the funeral the next day and then go to bury. It's all got to be in one. And you are only allowed 10 family members. Now, if your family is like mine and you got 350 people showing up to a funeral, you have a problem. Because the New York City police force comes inside to the churches and they come inside to the funeral homes where you are having these gatherings. You have 10 people sitting 6 feet apart. And if you need to have more people come because your family is that big, you have the first 10 in for a half an hour and they leave. And another 10 comes in for a half an hour and they leave. And they make it very difficult for you to move around. And people have tried. There have been some families who've snuck people into the cemetery and have given the impression that they're going to another funeral, and then all of a sudden another 10 people show up. No, because there are people watching. And here's why. It's not that they want to be mean. It's not that they don't want you to mourn your loved one. The funeral homes are being fined by the state of New York. All of these things are being done for a reason, because they don't want to spread the virus amongst the living people that are at the funeral. All visitors to your funeral must have on a mask and must wear gloves throughout the course of the service. You are not allowed to have flowers at the funeral. The worry in the state of New York is that the virus can spread because, we throw the flowers into the grave, or the gentleman from the funeral home will give us a flower each to take, or you can keep in remembrance. They're worried that they will be spreading the virus. So I think it's now 2 bouquets that they allow you to order, and those bouquets will go down with the casket. It's a lot. It's a lot. Guys, you have anything to add in here before I go on? Because it's a lot. It is a lot. Are they there? I think my co-hosts have become emotional and come out. All right, so we're going to go forward. They're there? Because I don't have them online.
I'm here.
I was asking if you had, before I went any further, was there anything that you wanted to add to that? Because that's a lot of information right there with the funeral. Because I'm going to move into the paperwork in a minute.
No, that was deep. I'm all just hear what y'all was just talking about. I was like, what? I wanted to say, like, what? Are you serious? We say those numbers and everything. I'm good. I
didn't hear that last part, Andy.
Oh, I said I was just at awe. I wanted to jump in and say, can you repeat those numbers? Can you repeat those statistics again? Because it was kind of crazy. It was mind-boggling.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I think, do we have somebody just beeping in? Okay, and guys, if you need to ask questions, you can call in and ask questions as well. And I'm hoping that, again, that one of the funeral directors that are listening, that they will actually call in. All right. So as I said, the plus was the insurance companies are staying on point, so they're not the problem. But I wanted to move into the paperwork as well, because there's a lot of things happening around the paperwork that you have to take consideration as well. First of all, when you're taking the body from the hospital, let me be clear. the piece of paper that you think is your death certificate, until the body is either cremated or until the body goes directly into the ground and is interred, that piece of paper that you have is called a statement of death. It's not your death certificate. So that's not the paper that you can use for the legalities. Some people have pensions. Some people have business dealings and bank accounts, and they ask for the death certificate. That is not what you have at this point. The death certificate can only be generated in the state of New York by the mortuary service. So your funeral home is responsible, because they get a paper from the doctor after they finish taking care of your loved one. When they get to either the cemetery or the crematorium, the final pieces of information are added to the death certificate, and then the death certificate is filed by the mortician with the New York State Registrar's Vital Statistics Department. Okay, did we get all of that?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's very important. And here's another piece. We're used to a certificate that has a raised seal. You know how your birth certificate, when you touch the bottom of it, it has that bumpiness, the raised seal?
Right.
We don't do that anymore.
Really?
Because the digital world that we live in, with how we transfer information back and forth, does not allow us to put that type of seal in anymore. It's now like the dollar bills or the money that we have, where you can hold it up and you can see the watermark through it.
Right.
Okay, so the new thing is your death certificate has a watermark in it for the state of New York.
Wow, didn't know that.
See, that's why I'm giving you the information, baby.
I appreciate you.
It's a lot. 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 I wanna stop here for a minute, because there's some things that I want to share with you. First of all, yes, we're living in a pandemic, but my team this week, we knocked heads. Myself and my co-hosts and my producers, in our meetings, we knocked heads with each other based on this subject. This whole COVID-19 has really caused a deluge of information and emotion that we've all had to deal with. Because in doing this show and bringing this information to you, each of us was so passionate as to what needed to be strongly said. For one of us, it was, we got to make sure that they understand that it's imperative for them to put on the masks. And for another one, it was imperative to put on the gloves. And the other one, it was imperative that we connect to the situation and show everybody that we can all get sick and how we affect each other. And you know what? Every facet of it is important.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Because we're looking at another wave.
Yes.
We've got people. I listened to a report out of Vegas yesterday afternoon. And the mayor of Vegas thinks that this is all nonsense. This is a woman that is running a township filled with people, with casinos and bars, and she said it's nonsense. Open up the economy. Let's all go back to work. You can't go back to work if you're dead.
Yep.
You got that right.
So we all have to take a breath. We all have to go step by step and understand, yes, you need to keep the gloves on. Yes, you need to put the masks on. The masks are important because they protect you from me that tested positive. The masks are important because they protect your children. They protect your older folks. In the beginning, we were told that older folks were at risk, at the most risk, and everybody else between a certain age was fine. So we had 25-year-olds walking around like they were God.
Yeah.
Now
That's all right.
25-year-olds are dying.
No,
Keep the
taking the
masks
calculated
on.
risk.
And there's
Put your
so many
mask.
things that
Say that again, Miss Leslie.
I was saying, and there's so many things that, I mean, to be touched on in this whole thing. In New
Yeah.
York, especially, we have a whole immigrant population, some who don't even speak English well. And they're
Mhm.
trying to get morticians to come and pick up their loved ones who have died. And they don't know why, they don't know how, they don't have the wherewithal to pay, for any type of service. And morticians have been accepting limited payments just because they know, hey, once they take the body, they know they'll probably never see that person again.
Again.
And so, and trying to be human at the same time because they know it's someone's loved one. They have been accepting these bodies and taking very little payment to
To
have
deal
them
with
buried.
them. And we have a call coming in on the line. Let me Leslie, we're gonna come back to you. Let me take this call. You're on the air and I know who this is. Hey, Uncle Lays.
What's up, Dave? See, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm excellent. In a real good space.
Wonderful.
Just glad this quarantine is slowly. Well, it's supposed to open up slowly, but not for most people. They just kind of pulled the covers off. I hope everybody still stays safe.
It should pull the covers off. So
Yeah,
what do
yeah,
you
that's great.
think about what's going on here in the show? Are you listening to all of these things that I'm telling you with the morticians and what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I've been paying attention to a lot of this stuff. So from my perspective, I just think that, I just know it's all crazy. That's all I can tell you. I think you're spot on with all of your analysis. I think, I think that's great.
Thank you.
That's what I think.
We try to help.
Yeah.
We try to help. I'm actually going to show a couple of things that can help the situation for the living right now. But we're excited. We're excited for you. It's good to hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking to Uncle Lays.
Well, I have a couple of reasons. I mean, beyond the fact that Rock and I, we build off each other. Sticky and I build off each other a lot. So I support you guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know about the Raw Perspective.
Yes.
The new show that's coming out. So I called to extend personally an invitation to you to join me on my show so that we can have a really serious discussion. I'm not going to spill out the topic today.
Yeah.
I want to save that for my show.
All right. Uncle Lays, I'm wherever you tell me to go here. We're family.
But I think the topic is such a powerful. Now I don't know if you've been hearing any of my show yet because really it's in the early stages and we haven't released it. Like we're sort of building the episodes out, and the first week of shows is really more about me just getting comfortable with speaking to the audience, just sort of like what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the show that we're going to do, that you're going to be a part of, is such a powerful subject that I think the world is going to go. It's divisive. It's tough, but I think with you as the co-pilot, everybody's going to get what they need out of it.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be solid. It's going to be
Well,
exciting.
I'm coming in and I'm giving you 500% because my brother,
Oh, yeah. No.
I always got your back.
I know you do, and I know it's going to be great, and I know we're going to have a great time. So listen, first of all, my sister, you keep doing your thing. You are an incredible talent. You guys continue to keep the good fight on and keep fighting that good fight. because it's people like you that we know. And before I go, I want to make one more announcement, and I think this is something that I have to say, publicize. So I don't know if you know that I'm part of a coalition called Off School Grounds, and where we have 100 principals every week, and we go out there and we do some major things in the community. I mean, it's a tremendous platform. Well, about a week and a half ago, a very racist Indiana State Senator, John Lucas, was putting out some incredibly racist memes. So we got with the senators from Indiana, the Black Caucus, and we devised a plan on how to deal with a guy like this. Now, remember, we're changing the world. Everything is changing, and the way we do things as Black people is going to change. Well, guess what? There were no marches. There were no kneeling. There was none of that. We sat there. We got behind the scenes, and we dealt with the Senate, and we got a bunch of people to do the right things. Well, this guy's been censured, kicked off 2 committees, and he won't run again. And he's already begging us to hold a meeting for him to come and apologize. So just the beginnings of great things that we're doing. Just know that the fight is continuing, and it's infectious, and it's not gonna be televised like it used to be. You know, because they see that coming. They see all the marches and all the, you know, they know all that's coming. So there are ways that we can develop and fight these wars strategically and pragmatically so that we can win these wars. And I think that's the approach that we're all going to take. Here's the deal. This is not my show. This is your show. I'm taking up too much time.
No,
but listen,
it's
all I'm
perfectly
saying
fine.
to you, is join Uncle A's and ESP as she comes in and does sort of a crossover visit to the Raw Perspective, and we're going to lay down some fire in the music business. We call it some fire ass tracks. Okay.
That's right. That's right. It's an honor, Uncle Lace. Thank you so much, and thank you for
God bless you.
joining
Enjoy
us
your show.
here. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, sir. That is Uncle Lace. All right. So, wow, that just is amazing to have him. You don't even know. It's amazing to have him on the show because he is the heart and soul of MOP. He is the heart. Listen, I can't even begin to do the breakdown on Uncle Lace. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to jump quickly into some other things here that are directly affected by what we're talking about. First of all, let me give you the name of the mortician that I was referring to, because this is a gentleman who, he's a special kind of person. He really is. He works with the family even when the money is tight, and he takes his time. It's not about office visits for him. He will come to your home. He will sit down with you. He will speak with the family. He will make you feel comfortable. His name is Clarence Holston, and the name of his funeral home is Holston Funeral Services. He's located up at 2200 Clarington Road in Brooklyn, New York. And he really, really dedicates and takes time with you. I understand we have another call on the line. We're going to shift over to that. You're on the air. This is ESP Speaks.
Yes, hi, this is Danielle.
Hello, how are you?
Well, is this Esther?
This is ESP.
ESP, hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I just wanted to join the conversation.
Yes, we want you to join the conversation. What is it that you want to talk? What hit you in the conversation that made you call? What do you want to talk about? Because I gave a lot of information today, girl.
Yeah, you did, and I apologize for coming in late. I just wanted to just say that, you know, let's keep those that have family members in nursing homes or hospitals in prayer. It's hard for us as families, you know, not to be there, to be, you know, support for them while they're there. And, you know, I just wanted prayers for that.
I thank you. And you know what? You are my perfect segue, because I now want to talk about the living. I wanted to give As I said, my brother had passed away in this whole thing, and I wanted to give those family some guidelines and some help. But now I do want to talk about the people who are in nursing homes and so on. Now you said you have somebody in the nursing home. Do you mind if I ask who it is in your family that's in the nursing home?
Absolutely. My father.
Your father. Okay.
Yes.
And how's he doing, by the way? Because we want to send prayers out to him. How's he doing?
Well, he's maintaining. He's in the hospital. He was transitioned from the nursing home to the hospital. They tested him for COVID-19 and he was negative. However, being in the hospital for a substantial period of time, he's susceptible of getting that, and it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And transitioning back to the nursing home, he must remain negative, but that's not to say that he won't get it again, because I'm still getting the alert from the nursing home that, i.e., people are dying and or have it. So it's a very stressful situation. He's maintaining, but one day at a time.
Where are you? Are you in New York?
Yes, I am.
And the nursing home is in New York?
It's in Queens. I'm not sure if you know who I am. My name is...
I know your voice. Is this Danny? Say your name again.
Danielle from M&A.
Okay.
Girl,
listen. I have goosebumps because I'm listening to your voice and I'm saying, my goodness, that's Danny. My love, I so appreciate you calling in, number one. Number two, I pray for your father every single day. And
thank you.
You as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know who this is on the line. This is my baby sister. She's not the same mama, she's not the same daddy, but she's my baby. This is my soror. This is my baby sister, okay? Oh my goodness. She is amazing. And she's the perfect example of the duty that we have to our parents. And it's difficult. Let me break this down for you. There is a nursing home and you are not allowed to visit your loved one in a nursing home, but you're being told on the media that this place is the place where the virus is attacking. You can't even imagine. And this young lady has to live with this, and families have to live with this on a daily basis. How, Danny, how can we create a network to the nurses? How can we get to see them? Is there an iPad, or do the nurses have, can we set up video, something? How do you get to speak with him?
Well, to answer that question, I can only speak for the nursing home that he's currently in. They send us alerts. If the family members want to set up the iPad, they would have to do it with the reception person downstairs, but that's risky. My father's on the floor dealing with individuals that have dementia, so that he would have to be escorted downstairs with this person with an iPad, and that part is scary because he's in a main lobby where people are coming in and out, and again, that's putting him at risk more of contracting this. So what I do, it's very hard to get through during the day, because I'm sure I'm not the only loved one that's calling in. I wait till the evening hours when I know all of the residents are resting, and I speak to the night nurse. And she or he, whoever answers, if my father is still up, they'll bring the phone to him and he'll get to hear my voice, and we talk. And that gives me peace. Or if he's resting and they don't want to disturb him because of, you can't have that close contact with the patients like that. They give me daily updates, and I call every other day, and I have to live with the positive messages that they give me that he's doing okay. And it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's very emotional. It's tiring because you have to wait 40 minutes to get through, but you have to have the patience and the understanding that you will get through, and that hopefully today is a good day. The only disturbing thing that I don't like, and I suggest this to the nursing home, but you're regulated because of what we're dealing with, is the automatic robocall telling us another person has died at this facility.
Wow.
Or another person has tested positive at this facility, because it's like, will your parent or will your loved one be next? It's overwhelming.
Danny. I don't even know. And you know I'm not speechless ever. Help me. Love, prayers, anything that we can do, please let us know. If there's an idea that you need help executing, if you come up with something that makes sense and we at Boardwalk Global Media can help you get that done, you let me know. Because you know I'll always go 500% for you. Girl, I'm so happy that you got through. I appreciate you, and I'm here for you.
I appreciate you, Andy, and Leslie for hosting these things.
You know what, Rock, that was totally improper. my tech crew, listen, I'm sorry, sweetie, but you know, men with toys, I'm sorry. Oh, all right, Danny, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. And you know what, look for a call from me, because we got to talk. We got to figure out a way to make this situation better and have a line of communication for everybody, because you know we love to change the world.
Amen, and continued and much success on this broadcast.
Bless you, sweetie. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness. That was a treat. Danny made my day. If you ever meet this woman in real time, the energy, the exuberance, just the most lovely, lovely woman that you'd ever want to meet. Thank you for calling in, Danny. I want to offer something, because you know what, let me be straight. Black and brown people, I'm talking to you. People of color, I'm talking to you right now. All right, because I'm tired of the GoFundMe thing. There's a couple of things that I want to say. Get an insurance policy. Get online. They are $5. You can have them. It's okay. If you can buy a pack of cigarettes, you can buy an insurance policy. If you can afford McDonald's once a week, you can afford an insurance policy. Because when you pass away, or when somebody in your family passes away, because you can buy an insurance policy for someone else too, you'll at least have something to help you on this journey. That's step number one, and I'm not going to elaborate on it. It's a whole nother show. And actually, we did that show on The Real Discussion, but we'll do one here with ESP Speaks. The next thing, this piece of paper, and I'm going to hold it up to the camera, I'm going to have it scanned, and I'm going to put it on the ESP.com website, the ESP Speaks, the Real Discussion website, the Boardwalk Global Media website, the Logic Wild website. I'm going to put it on all of our websites. I want you to go on and print this out. Now, just quickly, this is a family information guide, all right? Here's what this is in a nutshell. Everything that I need to know about you, because this is happening. It's a nightmare case. Your wife does not remember your social security number when you die. And if you were in the hospital with your wallet in a COVID situation, she has no access to that wallet until your body is released, and your items that came in with you have to remain in a quarantine situation even after your body is released from the hospital. So guess what? We don't have your social security number. On this paper is every piece of information that could be asked about you as a person. Where you're living, how many brothers and sisters you have, your social security number, your bank account number, whether you're in the service, and what your service numbers are, vital statistics about your spouse, your bank accounts, because those can't be released. You can actually put your PIN numbers down, and all of this information should be listed here. Where your policy is, what your policy number is, in case we can't find what your policy is. The safety deposit box that you have at the bank and didn't tell anybody about, which we're going to get a letter from in about 3 months saying that you're deceased. They found you on the wire that you're deceased, and they now need somebody to come and get it up. This is all the information of everything that you have in one piece of paper. At the bottom of this piece of paper is an area for you to sign and date it. If you do this in front of a notary public, this can be a springboard for the person who has to handle your information. Or you could take it one step further and take it to an attorney and sign it in front of him or her and turn it into a legal document. But every single thing that needs to be known about you in a situation of death can be written right here and handed to the person that you deem it necessary. This cuts down a lot of the stuff that your family has to go through if something happens to you. Okay, that's number one. Number two, for some of you who are taking care of people, I wrote a book 3 years ago called Caretaker. Please take a look at it. It's online. You can get it on Amazon. Okay? It's called Caretaker by E.E. Perry. And I talk about all of these things. I talk about pandemic. I talk about viruses. I talk about caring for a parent at home. I talk about caring for parents at a hospital or caring for any family member. And it also has the line of succession in the back of the documentation that you need in the event of a situation like this. So that's another tool. Okay. I'm trying to prepare you. I'm trying to make you think. Because if in this situation, with us being locked into our homes for 2 months, you haven't started to think about how you're going to handle the rest of your life, there's a problem. You're not seeing what's ahead of you. We have to address this now. The city is starting to open up. There's another wave coming. Think about what you're doing. Think about your safety. Think about your planning and what needs to be done in the event that you are the one that's in the hospital this time. All right. So, are my co-hosts there? Because they've just been so quiet. After Danny, I think that knocked them out of the box.
Yeah, we're gonna put them back
Huh?
on. We're gonna put them back on.
All right, because I want them in for, I'm already at final words, and I can't do final words unless I have my captain and my sergeant with me. So where is my boots on the ground Andy and my Captain Lesley? Oh, wow, really? You guys left me?
How?
You guys left me?
No, we didn't let him. We got booted out. The last thing we heard was.
Well, we got you back, and we're still on air.
Hello.
Listen, we got to get this bandwidth booted up because I can't deal with you guys on the phone. I need you guys in person. I need you guys looking at me. I need you guys in the studio with me. I miss you.
We would love to be there.
All right, listen. Oh my goodness, he's playing with the buttons again, Leslie.
What?
He's playing with the buttons again. Okay, guys, I need you in for last words because you know what? 2020 has been filled with deaths. It's been filled with things we never even thought of.
Okay.
Let's get last words from you guys and let me tie this all up. Go ahead.
Okay. Who's first?
Ladies first. Captain.
Captain.
Research, huh? Okay. So I just want people be loving to each other, be considerate, just understand that we're all going through the same thing, and just let's spread love. Love conquers all.
Amen. And I just want everybody to just be safe. Continue to practice wearing your mask, your gloves, wherever you go, and just enjoy life to its fullest.
Yeah, and hand washing. You know what, guys? Hold on, because we have another call. Y'all are on fire tonight.
Leo.
You're on the air with ESP.
To send a voicemail, press 2. Okay.
Hello, you're on the air. You're on the air.
Continue.
With ESP.
You're back.
Okay. We're back. Are they here?
You're here.
You know what? We got that call in, and I thought that the announcer said Leo. And if it's Leo, the Leo that I think it is, you know I'm excited, right? Whoever that caller was, please call back.
There you go.
And guys, hang on, because you know.
Call from.
Leo.
You're on the air.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
You are on the air.
Hey, guys.
Hi. Leo?
Hi. Hey, Esther.
Which Leo is this?
Leo Cologne.
Oh! Pastor.
Y'all look great.
Pastor.
Y'all look wonderful.
God is good. Ladies
I'm
and
enjoying
gentlemen.
you guys.
I'm so happy you're enjoying. Ladies and gentlemen, Leo, I'm about to. I got to hold on because I'm about to get emotional. Family, audience, you about to get firsthand, okay? 9 weeks ago, I got a call. Your brother's in the hospital. And this is my little brother from 45 years. We went to school together. And I was told that he was on a ventilator. And I was told that they were worried that he wasn't going to make it. And every one of us pulled together and we just got together in prayer. Now, Leo's a pastor. And it was time for us to put all of that energy he put into us and put it right back to him. And you're on the other end. You know what, Leo, I'm gonna just talk.
Listen, I'm just calling to support you guys. It's good to see all of you. Every last one of you, from Andy to Les and everybody else. I wanted to say hey and let you know I'm praying for you guys. You guys are doing great work out there, and we love you. And to support you.
Leo, I can't even talk. You know we love you and Dorothy to the moon and back. I'm so happy. How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm actually walking around the block and breathing, and everything is wonderful. This whole experience has changed me into a way where I'm so grateful for little things. I'm grateful my wife didn't have to accept my degree posthumously. All kinds of things like that. My wife would have been here in the house by herself, and dealing with all of that kind of stuff, and then trying to take care of a church and and everybody. Everybody from Vanessa Williams to the band to everybody was just, pulling for me. And I'm just so grateful I'm here. And I'm looking forward to getting back into some semblance of normalcy. Of course, we're not going back to the church tomorrow. We'll still be online. But, we're doing it.
Leo, I have to do my journalist thing. I'm emotionally, as you can tell, I'm emotionally moved because I didn't think that I was going to be able to talk to you, not on air, but okay. So now I got to ask the questions. What was it like when you were in the hospital? What was it like for you?
Well, here's the deal. I was in ICU for about 4 or 5 days.
they never did have to ventilate me. So that's one thing. Let me correct that for you.
Okay.
They never did have to ventilate me. But the reason why, and I'm talking to Kevin. You remember Kevin from M&A?
Yeah.
Kevin Holcomb. And he's one of my best doctor friends. And he was telling me, like, Leo, when they told me they put you in ICU, that's when I really started to pray. I did not know that when they put you in ICU is because they believe they do have to ventilate you.
Right.
Once they ventilate you, the mortality rate is anywhere upwards of 80 to 90%.
Yeah.
So 8 out of 10 people that they ventilate don't make it.
Wow.
And so that was how close to death I was. And God in his graciousness just pulled me out of that situation, allowed me to come back home, allowed me to the point where, I had to learn how, not learn how, but I had to walk slowly. I had to learn how to use my muscles again. Breathing was an interesting thing. I had to have oxygen at home. It's amazing. Now I'm doing fine. I'm walking around the block. I can drive. I can do all kinds of things. And I promise you, this is nothing but the graciousness of a wonderful and incredible God. So it's fine. I did finish off all my work from my school, so I have my master's degree now.
Praise God.
Just today, hey, thank you, sir. And just today, I got an acceptance letter for the cohort for my doctorate. So,
yes.
Doing that, of course, I'm still going to do the music, and so we'll see when that happens. We're supposed to have a concert in September, but with the way this is going, it's probably not going to work. So, we're still doing some stuff. Maybe this might be a great opportunity for me to do my album. So we'll see.
Finally. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, okay, let me give you another perspective. This man that we're speaking to you, Pastor Leo Colon, he's the music director for Vanessa Williams. He spends most of his time taking care of other big names. Yes, now it's time for you to finish your album, Leo. I'm so excited. I'm so blessed that you called today. This is so amazing.
My birthday threatened my life with regard to that. So she's like, if you don't do your album, I'll kill you. And so I think I better just go ahead and do the record.
Just do it.
Just dying, and nobody no sense to do that. So
I don't know how many things we need to shake us in order to just get us going. Just do it. Just do it.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you, it's amazing to me, and I'm thanking you so much for the information that you're giving. And I'm seeing Maureen is online watching you, and Danielle, and all of our friends. Jonathan Church is watching you. But I'm thanking for all the information you're giving, and I gotta tell you that watching these politicians open states without caring how people are going to survive this is the most insulting thing I've ever seen in my life. You wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy. Because you got to understand, I'm in ICU thinking I'm going to die in a minute because I can't breathe. And these people are trying to open up their state so people can make $18.95 an hour.
Exactly.
That's what it boils down to.
That's the most insulting thing I've ever heard in my life. And it speaks to the contempt you have for people. And then for a man who actually publicly says he does not pray, for him to decide that he wants churches open.
To open.
Come on,
this is a living joke. And I think if we as a people don't, listen, the Bible tells us that in all things acquire wisdom, acquire understanding. It means that we're not born with it. It means you have to go after it.
Gotta get it.
And, if you're a person that's going to just simply take the okie doke, you're not doing your community a favor. So get wisdom, get understanding. With every time that you do anything that you do, get an understanding of what's going on, and please don't take things at face value. People are dying. It is absolutely horrid what's happening out here.
Right.
And I think we are being dismissive when we just tell people, let's just open up the state because I need to go get a haircut. It's crazy.
And with regard to this church, with him in this church, we are the church. The Bible says we are the church.
We are the church.
That's right.
Sure.
We don't need to open the buildings.
Well,
That's
well
right.
here's the thing. I don't want us to devalue though the importance of community.
Oh no, we're
And
not
we
going
don't
to do
want to,
that.
we don't want to devalue
Mm-hmm.
going to the church house, because one of the things we don't want to have happen is that when it does become safe for us to go back to the house of God, that we determine we're just going to do it virtually. You need to be in the house of God. But you're right. We are the church. It certainly doesn't take a politician to determine that we're essential, and it doesn't take a building for us to get a prayer through.
That's it.
But
And
all of that being said, let's not devalue. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people online just devaluing the sense of community that God calls us to, and so we don't want to do that. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And, the church never closed.
That's it. But overall, we have to have common sense. We have to use the common sense that the good Lord gave us. It's not time yet. And this, again, thank you, Pastor Leo, because you have brought the full circle to the finality and tying up this podcast, because the thought process is that we have to walk softly, put those masks on, take care of ourselves, take care of each other, think, and use our common sense to go forward, because there's another wave coming and we got to prepare ourselves. We really do. Wow, this is just amazing. I'm so happy that we have. Oh boy, here he goes with the
God bless you by the God.
Leo, you have made my day. And love to Dottie.
Love to Dottie, no problem. I'll tell her.
All right, sweetheart. Thank
Bye,
you
guys.
so much. Bye-bye.
I love you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a one. I thought this subject matter that when we chose it was going to be so depressing, and look, we're smiles, we're crying, we're all over the place.
Over the place.
I do want to tell you what's upcoming next week. Before we give final words, I want to make sure that I get in what's upcoming, because there's a couple of treat shows coming up. On next week's show, which is the 30th, make sure you got your sneakers. Make sure you have your towel, because y'all are going to be sweating it out with the professional personal trainer and nutritionalist and sports model, Kareem Baylor. He is going to give you a full body quarantine, get it going, get it all started, and get the last 20 pounds off workout. So we're going to be with him next week. That's May 30th. And then the week after that, which is June 6th, I'm really excited about this. We're going to have an author that is so special with us. Her name is Maureen Anderson. And we're going to be discussing November Rain, a new book that she bought. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps with it. Okay, that wasn't the one that I wanted. I wanted the applause for Maureen. I want to remind you that we're going to be in the studio again tomorrow night. We're going to be doing the real discussion with Rock Logic, Gary D, ESP, and Robin, because Rock is having his first rant of 2020, and it's a doozy. Ooh. I'm telling you, he going to shake this whole studio down to the ground. He's mad. All right, so now, guys, I'm exhilarated. Yes. What's the final words? And they're quiet.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
Who?
You go ahead, Elder Annie. Stay safe.
Stay safe. And just remember, Memorial Day is not about barbecues and going out to the beach and to the Central Park or wherever you're at. It's all about to memorize the lost life of those ladies and gentlemen that served our country proudly.
That's right. That's right. It's Memorial Day. That's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we love you. And from Boots on the Ground, Andy, and Captain Lesley, and ESP speaking, we will see you next time here on ESP Speaks.
Peace.